what are some parts of Pinterest that confuse you, curious about, confused about, don't know about, or what you want to learn, walk away learning today?
So Pinterest is something that I'd like to consider adding in the future, but it not being like a huge focus. Right now, my website, Instagram, and YouTube are kind of like my main focuses. What is the most simple, effective way to get started and just have a consistent presence without it being like all consuming? And then just those little tips of like, if I'm not going to post constantly, like what can I get away with, but how can that post be the most effective that it can be, whether that's keywords or I don't know, whatever that looks like. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I haven't set up a pin of my own though. I'm saving pins for like inspiration.
Thank you. And Rachel says that she loves to use it for business and personal. Awesome.
I think Pinterest for me just gets confusing. I know how to use it as like just a user and save things to a board, and I know those things are searchable. And I know that Pinterest is like based on keywords and it's more of a search engine, but I don't really understand how to really help yourself rank. And so those pins can be seen. I've pinned a few things, but they usually only get about 5 views or something like that. So I'd love to learn more about like how to strategically create new pins to actually get them to rank so that they can get seen.
I was actually going to say the same thing as Brittany. Honestly, I have never made my own pin, and I just look at Pinterest to find inspiration for other stuff. So honestly, there's a lot I could probably use to know more about navigating it and being able to share my own stuff.
So it sounds like everyone is on a similar page here. Some of you guys are dabbling in it, and some of you are not finding lots of success. So you're not really wanting to spend too much time on it. There are several things that you should do to set up your pin, your actual Pinterest bio. So this is the Pinterest board that I manage. It's basically, when you're looking at your business hub, you want to make sure that you are setting up certain things so that way you can optimize it. One of the things that you can do is you can attach first you want it to be a business profile. So that's first and foremost. But when you're setting up your business name, there's a couple things that's really important to keep in mind. One, you want to make sure that you have keywords inside of your description. So like similar to your bio. Two, you want to make sure that you have your website that has been claimed. So by claiming your website, it's going to send all those pins to the website. It's also going to make you look legitimate, and then it gives you a check mark. This is something that just shows that you're a legitimate business. Pinterest wants to know that you're not a bot or that you're not like spamming. So by claiming your website, it just makes you look like you're more legit. Some of the things that you want to mention in there is you want to mention like who you are, what you do, and you can even say why you do it. And it's good to have like a clear call to action. So like in here, for instance, it talks about there's a global directory sending to this, and this is the name of the directory. And the call to action is connecting today. I've been experimenting for quite a long time, for several years, and what performs the best. And there's two things that perform really well on Pinterest. One is carousels, where you're just doing a collage of several, images, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the same image. It could also be like a collection. Think of it that way, where think of yourself as a consumer when you're going to find information and you want inspiration for something. You want to like almost have like a feel for it, and you want something to have like a similar vibe. So remaining consistent with your pins, where like this is called a pin idea, and I'm creating a title at the front of a pin idea. What's nice about a pin idea is that there's not everyone on Pinterest is doing the pin ideas, because it takes a little bit more time to set up. But the other nice part about it is that because you can have keywords in your actual photo when you're creating it, it will help you rank as well. I'm going to show you guys really quick. So you can create a regular pin, or you can have an idea pin. Idea pins right now are doing really well. And then video is the other thing that's popping right now that is not going to be going away anytime soon. Pinterest is really leaning into the video side. So that's really great when you can repost like your reels, or if you have a short tutorial where you're able to show something. But the main thing when it comes to Pinterest is keeping in mind that people are there. Most people are going to Pinterest to learn something or to shop. So most people are going there for inspiration, to like either learn how to do a certain thing or to save something for later, or they're looking for something specific to shop. So when it comes to growing your Pinterest, keeping that in mind, where like your talking videos are not going to do as well because people are not usually listening to the sound. Very short clips and quick information is going to be better. I'm going to pretend that we're creating a pin right now. Again, I'm doing this just for you guys, so I don't have anything prepared, but I'm just going to pretend that I have something. So I'm going to so I'm going to go ahead and pick these 3 pins. Okay, there we go. And typically when I'm doing something like this, I want to create a catchy title. So this is where things start to get a little bit more, I guess, time consuming, because you don't want to just put any title. So obviously for this, in this situation, like let's pretend this is like a coaching package for hairstylists. So I would want to go on either Google or Pinterest and type in the keywords that would rank a little bit better. So one way that you can do that is literally inside of Pinterest. And you can say in the search bar, you can say salon and make it broader instead of being hairstylist. And type in salon and just push enter and see what pops up. This is one way of searching for your title. This is not the way you have to do it. And sometimes it's faster to actually do it on Google. The thing about Pinterest is that it is a search engine. And that means that every single title, every single keyword has a filing system that's included in it. So this is a really good example to show you guys, because sometimes when you search in the search bar, it automatically shows up under your pins. But we want to go to the caret here and say all pins. So now I'm going to go ahead and start typing in education. So as I start typing in education, it gives me a list of things that kind of like fall under that category that I already started typing. It started filling out salon education for me, but these might be some other things. Salon education space, perhaps, salon education room, quotes, salon education hairstylist. So I'm just going to click on the very first one, salon education. And I'm pretending that this may be my title. Now, as I'm looking through these, I'm going to look at some other, you can see that most of these that are showing up under this, it has the title description actually on the actual cover, and that's what's helping it show up. And you can kind of see at the top here, it's guessing. This is where AI comes in. It's guessing what you're needing. Like, you're looking for these keywords here that fall under the category within salon, hairstylist, and education. So at least we know that salon education shows up. I'll just go ahead and go back to our original pin, and I'm going to say salon education. And under this board, it's important that you choose the correct board that you're going to put it under. So this is the other part that's like really important. And it's going to be, again, this is a little bit more labor intensive, but what I personally like to do is I like to set up several of these at a time. So I might do these late at night. And what do you guys mention? Like, I don't know how often to do it and all that stuff. Pinterest really likes you to do like between 3 and 5 pins a day, which sounds like a lot. But what I will tell you that's been successful for me so far is by actually sending my actual posts from Instagram direct to Pinterest. Have any of you guys done that before? So hairstylist is one of the tags that shows up. So I'm going to obviously want to go with that tags. I'm going to type in salon and see what shows up. Beauty salon, that's relatable. I'll type in stylist as well, since sometimes we refer to ourselves as stylists. Salon style, we'll say. So these are examples. I keep going until I can't think of any more keywords. I typically like to put between 7 and 8 keywords for that. And then you can actually publish this immediately or you can schedule it. So I typically like to schedule. I don't like to do it like in that moment. So that way I can just move on to the next one. So I would schedule my pin. I want to be like a couple days ahead. This is also where you can get more information. So if this was something that was, I guess, instructional or step-by-step or products that you may need to use, then you can add that in there as well. The other thing that's new that they've launched is going live. And I'm a big proponent, like no matter what platform you're on, anything that's brand new to the platform, they're just going to try to put more, like there's less people doing it and they're going to reward those who are doing it. So those who do this really well, unfortunately, this would be somebody like in our scenario, if we were doing a step-by-step tutorial for hair and we had somebody that can help us with doing that live, that would be an instance that you could do it. And that would really help with your business growth. I've been seeing some other people who have been doing it in the past that is like bakers or they're, chefs or whatever. And they're not chefs, but people in the kitchen. Yeah, you can go live on Pinterest now. And then the other thing that I was mentioning to you guys is video. So if you have any short form videos and you start uploading those, you would just create it as a regular pin. But the reason why it does so well is kind of the same thing as the algorithm with Instagram. Every time somebody watches it back through, then that counts as like an impression, basically. If I go back here and I kind of show you guys the example that I was talking about before, you'll see that even static photo, like, let's see, we'll go to a static photo here. These are all, see how the top ones here, they're none of them are static photos except for this one right here. And that's like a call to action, right? That's more like a title page that's leading people back to it. It got a lot of views on it. Some people repinned it. Some people sent it off to someone else. The rest of them you're going to see like higher views and higher sends because they are related to what your boards are. So the more specific you can get, the better. Pinterest also rewards you for having several different folders inside of Pinterest. So you wouldn't want to put every one of these into their own. There are a lot of different folders that are inside of here, or different pin boards, I guess is what they call it, pin boards. So playing around with like this, for instance, is a tutorial, and you can see that that one didn't rank so well. It had 10 saves here. So sometimes it's hard to really know, like, number one, who's willing to sit through and watch it. Number two, when you're actually posting it and it works best for you. It is the best practice to set them up ahead of time and actually get that scheduled. So that way people can actually know what to look forward to. Consistency is always going to be king whenever it comes to any social media platform, and particularly Pinterest. Because they want to see that there is regular activity feeding into your pin. This is another example of something that was, again, like Glam Wave, something very simple, and it has like a bunch of different, there's 9 different slides in there, but this is where you can actually put your affiliate links into. So now let's talk about the disadvantage of pin ideas. It's similar to Reels on Instagram. So like Reels on Instagram, its whole job, it has a whole separate algorithm. Its whole job is to have people discover you that are not already following you. It's not going to help you with your conversions as much. Like your conversions are going to happen more from like your call to action thing, posts. A static Pinterest pin, that helps when you want to have an actual call to action. You want to lead people somewhere. So this might be an example right here. This is just a regular pin, but what's nice about it is that there is copy inside of it that describes it. And then we give credit to the artist here. And this leads people back to the society. So you can see how there's the actual website embedded in there. So you can choose your website of choice on there. So that way, if somebody wants to see more, then when they click on there, it sends them to that website. Idea pins don't do the same thing. Idea pins are more for discovery, and it's like fast, quick information. It's a way for people to save you, discover you. It's a way for you to grow your Pinterest faster. So you have to kind of use like 2 different tactics, like the faster growth type things, the viral photos and videos that do really well on Instagram, you can use that onto your Pinterest. And then you would want enough pins that are static pins that you can actually lead people back to your website or to wherever it is that you're trying to send them. If you don't have a website, or you're really just trying to get more, like, since we're talking about the landscape of really our affiliate links and making that happen, you would want to create things that are going to be converting for your affiliate links. So you'd want to put your affiliate link in there. You would want to make sure that you actually add your code in there. And the best way to do that is to actually have a cover that has your code in it so that people can actually, it leads them somewhere. So some examples of best practices with that, it may be the physical properties of the product itself. And then you're adding in portions of like what that product does for you. It could show before and after photos. It could be a video of you like washing your face with it. It could be a video of you in your daily routine. It can be a aesthetic type thing. It's number one, you don't have to sit and engage on Pinterest like you do with Instagram. Number two, it's a lot faster to set things up because all you're worried about is getting the right keywords in there to describe it. And so it's a lot easier for you to do that. Find what works best for our industry, for hairstylists in general. Like, how is it that you do something that feels good, that you want to do more of, that you're able to create and you see reward on the other end for doing it?
Yeah. So, in a brief sense, user generated content is basically a way for businesses and people that want to create content to create content without having to worry about their own personal following. And also, they don't have to sacrifice any kind of trust they may have with any kind of audience that they have. So it opens up your ability to create content for all sorts of companies without attaching like necessarily your persona to it. So it's beneficial, and it's also like a really booming industry right now. You can make pretty good money doing it. So what I really like about like being able to work with Pharmagel is you can kind of build that portfolio and you can leverage that with other brands as you get better. And so, yeah, basically you can kind of search it on either TikTok or on Instagram, just type in UGC and it'll show you a lot of examples. But basically it's just videos where that product is showcased in your like everyday life. So it doesn't even have to be only that product. Ideally, you wouldn't have like competitors in there because then they wouldn't the brands wouldn't necessarily want to post that. But you can do like your shower routine, and it's like your whole shower routine, and then only a part of it is like the Pharmagel face wash or something along those lines. Or it can be like a self-care day, or it could be like cleaning my house, or a nighttime routine that's like more inclusive of everything you would do, not just like necessarily your skincare. So those are just a few ideas. I know that Ambrosia and I have started saving kind of some UGC ideas so that when we're ready, we can kind of like share that with you. But yeah, TikTok is going to be a great resource because they're always the quickest on the trends, and then it ends up on Instagram. So if you do have TikTok, even if you don't use it, you can go in, search UGC ideas, and it'll pop up all sorts of stuff. Most of what you're consuming these days is probably UGC, unless it's straight from an influencer that you follow.
Try out a bunch of different things and see what sticks when you first start. And when it comes to creating the pins, try not to spend too much time in Canva curating like the perfect cover. It's almost better to not put very many covers and have that part that we're talking about with UGC. Like, you can literally have your hands touching the Pharmagel products, and you can have like pop-up text that talks about the benefits and features of it. That can be a pin in itself. So the whole idea is raising awareness, getting eyes on your links so that you can actually get conversions, and to communicate that you have a code so that people can get that 15% off for themselves.